How's it going, everybody? This is Mike, Gray1951, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still drinking my morning coffee, which, what does that tell you about me? It tells you I sleep late. Anyway, okay, so I'm back to do another video, this time with a couple of friends of mine, DVDCOLLECTOR1974, James, and FORKERBALL, his name is Ian, and they've started a new series that they call the Genre Files, which means every Friday they're going to pick a certain genre of film and pick out one film to review, to talk about. And they invited other people to join in, so here I am. All right, well, this week's genre that they chose is action films. And this is not really my area of expertise or even interest, really. I've said in many videos before that I don't care that much for the action films that are made today, although I have seen some and will probably see some in the future, but it's not something that I necessarily seek out to rent or buy or go to the theater and see. So since I just recently got Blu-ray capability, and my very good friend Thomas McCaskey, hi Tom, sent me a nice big pile of Blu-rays to start out with, for which I am eternally grateful. And a couple of them were action films and comic book films, things like that, that I normally would not buy on my own. But I have watched a couple of these. And the first one I put in, strangely enough, was Predator. Okay? Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Came out in 1987, directed by John McTiernan. Yeah. And, you know, I remember seeing the previews to this film in the theater before it was released. And when Schwarzenegger's name came up and then it said Predator, everybody started laughing. I guess it was just, it just seemed so funny that his long one-word name and then a one-word title, and it seemed like such a one-note actor. But let me tell you quite honestly, and this is embarrassing, my complete experience with the films of Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? I have seen the following films: Stay Hungry, Jingle All the Way, and Terminator, right? That's my, up until now, that was my only experience with Arnold Schwarzenegger as an actor. And I only saw Terminator about maybe 6 months ago. Somebody at work, when I was still working, somebody just loaned it to me and said, "Here, take this home and watch it." And I did kind of enjoy it. I'm not a big fan of the Terminator series, and again, I wouldn't go out and buy it, but it was kind of enjoyable. So anyway, I decided to watch Predator just to see what it was all about, what everybody's talking about, and to experience Blu-ray. So let me first talk about how it looked. The disc, I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. You know, TV's brand new. I'm finding out that a lot of Blu-rays are not as good as what they're supposed to be, but these folks did it right. The imagery is absolutely incredible, so I did enjoy it. I think everybody probably knows the story. It has to do with a special elite force of men headed by Schwarzenegger. One of the actors who plays in that group is Jesse Ventura. Don't really know the other actors. Don't even remember their names. I don't think most of them I've seen before. So they get hired by the U.S. government, the military, to go into this jungle of Central America and rescue some hostages. And the head of that force is Carl Weathers. So he and Schwarzenegger have this past relationship, which puts a lot of antagonism between the two of them, but they have to work together. And then when they get down there, they find out that everything is not what it was supposed to be. So there's a lot of anger, resentment, and they destroy this military compound, and they try to escape, and they find themselves being pursued by this bizarre alien creature, the Predator, who has the capability of being invisible or partially invisible, changing its form, sometimes becoming completely visible. And I have to admit, now, I really did enjoy most of this film. I thought the story was established very well. It's a very simple story, and all the characters are pretty much one, maybe two-dimensional, which for something like this, that's really all that matters. They didn't have to be three-dimensional characters. You didn't have to know a lot about them in order to just enjoy what they were doing in this movie. So there's a lot of graphic violence, and when these guys, what I didn't like about the movie particularly, since I'm not a big fan of overdone special effects and over graphic violence, when these guys stormed into the military compound to try to save these hostages, it was this long just belabored celebration of special effects and sound effects and explosions and bloodshed. Basically everything that I do not like about modern filmmaking. So that seemed to go on forever, and I thought, when is this going to end? So finally it did. And after that, as these guys are trying to escape, of course with a beautiful woman who is the only person who survived this this massacre, and she again is like a maybe 1.5 dimensional character. So they're all trying to escape and get back to the helicopter or whatever, and they find themselves being pursued by this alien. And one by one, people just keep disappearing until it's Arnold all by himself. So I have to admit, when we got to this segment, and especially at the end, when it was just Arnold versus the Predator, I thought it was terrific. I have to admit, who was the guy that played the Predator? His name was Kevin Peter Hall. Okay. And that's not a name I'm familiar with. Maybe he played the Predator in all the other films. I really have no idea. But I have to admit, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a very good heroic figure in this film. And maybe I should see some of his other stuff and find out. But for what he had to do, and for all the incredible physical stuff he had to go through in order to try to defeat this character, this alien, I mean, he was perfect for it. And I have to admit, it was very enjoyable. It was very exciting. So I have to give this maybe like out of 5 stars, maybe 2.5, maybe 3, because it did exactly what it set out to do, which is to give you a great action-filled adventure and promote Schwarzenegger and the character that he probably pretty much always plays the same character in movies. I really don't know. I probably shouldn't say that. To promote him as a star, an action star. And he was perfect for this. And the other actors were good too. Jesse Ventura was his arrogant self. Carl Weathers is always a very good actor. And so I guess, I don't know. I doubt seriously that I will ever watch this again, but never say never. I don't know. And I haven't watched any of the extra features. It looks like it's loaded with extra features. I just dropped my glasses, so I can't read the extra features. So anyway, I'm probably the last person alive who has never seen Predator up until now. But this was a first watch, and I have to admit, it was kind of cool. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I guess next week we are doing, what do they say we're doing? I don't remember, but I'll find out. So Ian, James, thanks for starting this series, and I hope other people jump in as well. Okay, take care.